Okay, we're recording now. All right, you guys, welcome to, this is Nuggets for Newbies, number 3. And so this is Start Them Strong. I got somebody, now what? So these are just some tips that we have been talking about, sharing about on Touch Base Tuesday, but also just, getting them all in one call and it's recorded. So first of all, shut off all notifications. When you have a new ambassador, when you have a new customer, you have posted on social media, you're sharing by word of mouth, and now you have somebody that has gone through your back office or your website and has purchased as an ambassador, wholesale, or customer. So what are the things that, that we do next? And let me tell you first, one of the things that attracted me to Plexus is the follow-up and customer service. We are literally, in my opinion, unlike any other company. We've purchased supplements from different MLMs before, and you guys, there was no follow-up, even after the purchase. Like, there was nothing. Like, hey, did you get your products, or how you doing, or do this, or do that? There was absolutely nothing. And so that made me think, how many of you on this call strive on customer service? How many of you go out to eat and expect to be treated real nice? You go to a restaurant, you sit down, you get offered water, the waitress comes over, refills your coffee, your tea, your water, and you feel good, right? You have a good experience. She comes over and checks on your table periodically, making sure everything's okay, making sure your food is warm. You feel like really good. You're gonna go back and tell your friends, oh my gosh, customer service is top notch, right? Well, that's how I feel like our company in Plexus is, in our culture, is that we strive on customer service and follow up and making sure that our customers and our ambassadors are followed upon, with their products and their business too. So that's one of the things that really impressed me as I started, and I started seeing all this follow up here and follow up there, because I had purchased, my husband too had purchased supplements from another company, and he just bought the products and you're off your own. You're on your own. There was no ever any follow up. So that is one of the main keys to success in this business with Plexus. So you are on here, our ambassadors, you're promoting your business. And to me, word of mouth is really huge. I've always strived upon word of mouth. And let me tell you, when people are happy with customer service, they're going to go tell their friends. And then you are following up with your customers and ambassadors, making sure that they're started off correctly on the products. Everybody has different goals, and there's different, it's just a wide range of customer service that we can offer. So with that, I want you, the first thing to success is following up. So in products is the number one thing that we have, as that's our product. Is the triplex, all these natural products, right? That is what we offer people. So what we want to make sure is, once you have a new customer or a new ambassador, is make sure that they get started correctly on the products. And now this can vary from person to person. We don't have one, cookie cutter for everybody, because everybody's so different. But yet again, it's so unique that they are. And so when somebody starts, I always ask what their health goals are. So we should know what their health goals are. If it's to sleep better through the night, to lose cravings, to have energy throughout the day, to reduce and regulate blood sugars, to lose weight. That's a very common one. Though when people tell me they want to lose weight, I do a little bit more digging. And that is asking them questions like, what's your sleep like? What's your energy like throughout the day? Any hormonal imbalance? Are you on medication? Any digestion issues? Those kinds of questions kind of bring out more conversation, and it gets to, there's other issues going on. It's not just weight. Sometimes I also ask, what do you think contributed to weight gain? So we want to make sure that we address those issues first, and those things, those factors first, so that we know how and what to recommend to them, right? So make sure that as you have a new customer, a new ambassador, whether they're ambassadors, treat them like a new customer too. Give them proper instructions. If you don't have the instructions, ask your sponsor, your upline. Most likely you got your instructions from your sponsor as you joined and you got your products. So my recommendation is to ask. Some of you may have gotten an email form, and I know I got them from Jen. And so what I did is I saved everything that Jen sent me in an email, and I started to do folders in my computer. So it was like all the graphics, the instructions on how to get started on the triplex and slim, etc. And they're also on the team pages under files. You can do a search, but if you can't find it, make sure you ask your upline and they'll direct you with that. So just make sure that as you have a new customer, and again, new ambassador, that this journey is about them, okay? Ask questions, get plugged in, get to know them. This is their journey, and ask, you know, how you can help with them. Start them out slow. These products are natural, they're potent, and they're natural, so they're not synthetic. Usually when we take something synthetic, and I always compare like Advil and Tylenol, that seems to work right away, right? It kind of numbs or whatever it does, however it works. But with our products, it takes time for it to build up because they're natural. And so I always recommend starting out people slow, and you might have to. Maybe you were started out slow with especially the probiotic, maybe 1 day or 2 days on slim, checking in with them. And we're going to go over how to often to check in with them. And for that, I have a sheet that I want to share with you. Go over medications with them, their health goals. One of the things that I really strive upon is keeping a journal. So when somebody joins me as a customer ambassador, it doesn't matter if they're on the triplex or just the slim by itself or just the probio, it does not matter. I tell them to give me to write down how they feel prior to starting. If it's sleep, they're not sleeping through the night. If it's energy, if it's cravings, how they feel mood-wise, how they just go about their day. You know, if it's that time of the month where they gain weight or they're more irritable, those things, just keep a journal of how they are prior to starting Plexus, and to keep journaling as they see things change when they add in the slim, when they add the bio cleanse, when they add the probio. Because sometimes these changes happen and they're so small, but yet they're big, and they don't realize, like, oh my gosh, I slept through the night, or oh my gosh, I didn't chew gum today. You know, which that could be to like, I'm not hungry, or I'm not craving sweets, or I drink more water today, or those kinds of things. You get it. So keep a health journal of how they before and prior to. The most common products that we sell is a triplex. So I usually keep a pretty generic triplex instructions on my computer, and I will change it. I'll make changes. Like, for example, if my customer is on thyroid medication, I make sure to say, make sure you space out your thyroid medication and your slim like 4 hours. And that's just like pretty much the only medication that has a little bit of spacing in between. And if you are not sure about this, make sure to ask your sponsor, ask on the team page, what's the best way. And if somebody is on a lot of medication, I would also just ask them to take their medications, well, go to their pharmacy and take the list of ingredients from our products and ask the pharmacist if there's anything that they should be spacing out or whatnot. So it's always easier to get to the pharmacist than it is to schedule a doctor's appointment and pay for a copay and that kind of stuff. So some of the things that I suggest. Like I said, I prefer email, just because if I get something texted to me, I'll lose it. If I get something messaged to me via Messenger, I will lose it, especially as I have a conversation with this person. Then I have to keep scrolling and scrolling and scrolling to get to the instructions. Though I am visual, I do like to read. So I prefer reading. Now that can just go from person to person, but make sure however you start is also duplicatable. However you started, you can duplicate that down. And if you don't like it, and you find a different way that is easier to duplicate to your new customers and ambassadors, then, you know, stick to something that works for you and is duplicatable. But for me, it's email, and it's easy to access. I can go into my Yahoo account and do a search for triplex instructions, and it pops up. I also send in some tools. So I talk to them about detox, you guys, and this is something that we may not talk a lot about it, but it was talked to you. So I suggest that you talk this to your customers. You say, we celebrate detox. Like if you happen to not everybody gets this because we start out slow. Remember, But for some people, they just have a little bit more bacteria, more toxins in their body. You just never know. Everybody's completely different. They may have some detox coming through their way. So it's good to educate them prior to and let them know that we celebrate that. We celebrate a headache. We celebrate, if it's diarrhea, anything of that. I mean, bloating and that kind of stuff. Those are good things. It means that something is working up and getting ready to be flushed out, right? So in moderation, of course, we have to make sure that it's in moderation. But most likely, if you start out slow in your products, you won't get there. You won't get the big detox signs. So I also have a form about detox, and there's detox documents in the files in the team pages too. So I want you to know just that we celebrate detox. Detox is a good thing. Prior to that, people would tell me that they'd have headaches and they'd quit. So it's good to educate them prior to, so that they think, oh, it didn't work for me, it gave me headaches. And that comes where word of mouth comes in. If we're not educating them, they're going to say, oh, I gained weight, I got bloated, or I had a migraine, or I got headaches, it didn't work for me. But they quit way too fast. They quit like right when the product is working, like it's working something to get rid and pushed on. The way I think about this is when somebody has an addiction to a drug of choice, for example, whether it's cigarettes or, I'm so naive with drugs, it can be anything. And you take that drug away and the body doesn't have it for a while, they're going to go through changes, right? They're going to go through that feeling that, what am I looking for? That they don't have it. So their body is going to react to it. Same thing when they don't have the sugar in their body anymore. As their body's getting rid of those toxins that have been in their body for such a long time, their body's going to resent that. And everybody's different. They may go through detox in different ways. So just be aware that that can happen. I also encourage them to take measurements versus weighing themselves. Because when you weigh yourself on the scale, you're weighing blood, water, bones, hair, eyes, everything. You're weighing everything. You're not just weighing fat. It's your whole body mass. So when you're doing measurements instead, you are measuring more of a mass. So if you have like a problem area, if it's the belly area, measure that. And then in another 4 weeks, go ahead and remeasure. And that's more of an accurate reading than it is to step on the scale. Okay, so I always tell people, don't rely on the scale and try not to step on it as often as you normally do. As a matter of fact, try to get rid of it, okay, because the weight on the scale does not define you. Another thing is there's info sheets in your back office. If you go into those 3 little lines in the corner and you go down to share or product, there's little shareables. So I usually share something about the Triplex or the new Slim, Bio Cleanse or Pro Bio, and send that as an attachment to them so that they have that on hand. Some people like to read, some may not, but they have that in case they have some reading material. Also, add them to the Inside Scoop page. I know this may seem like a lot, but this is just what I like to do, and just customer service, make sure that they're plugged in and follow up with them. And so what I mean about following up is, if we look at this right here, I'm going to share my screen. Okay. This was taken from Brooke Hemingway. Let's see if I can. Where is my screen? Where is it under? Okay, right here. Start them strong. Okay, I don't know if you guys can see this, but here's the follow-up. It's the first 30 days, and this has been posted, I believe, on the team page. If not, we can post it again. 1 week, it tells you the first follow-up in the first 30 days. So it tells you week 1, 4 days after initiating them, it tells them like, hey, Ashley, have you gotten your products yet? I'm so excited for you. If you've not received your products and started, you could say something like, how did you like the taste of the pink drink? Tell me what you thought. Engage in those conversations, that, those recommendations of how do they love it, that kind of stuff. And then it tells you what to say in week 2, and then week 3 and week 4. So I like to make sure that they've taken their first drink, because some people will sit on it, they'll get the products and it just sits there and they haven't started. You want to make sure that they get started on it as soon as possible. Okay. So I will share this in there, but this is from Brooke Hemingway, and this is from the 4 pillars. If you were on that call, this is what she shared, which is so good. So follow up, follow up, follow up. Okay, this is good practice, good customer service. The other thing, also, here's what the Triplex product info sheet looks like if you were to download it. I like to send this. So it says a little bit about what it does. It removes, restores, and rebalances the gut. It tells you what each one does, like the Bio Cleanse, the ProBio 5, and the Slim. It's really good education for them. And it talks about how the gut health is important for your health. And then it tells you everything that the Triplex can do. You know, I won't go over them, but here's also the clinical studies based on the Triplex right here on to the right. And then here's also your list of ingredients for each product, all in one place. Whoops, right there. And this is in your shareables. You can download it. You can send it directly from your back office via Messenger. These are great tools that Plexus has done for us already. And then here is a little visual of how to take it. You know, for example, AM is your Slim, 60 minutes before a meal, 30 to 60 minutes, and before bed, ProBio, Bio Cleanse, etc. In case you want to add any others, but there's just a little table if you like that visual instructions. And then there's just some Q&A stuff on it. So really good material that I like to share, and I just like to keep it in my phone and my computer and just to share that with them. Also, one of the things that this was shared on our team page, if somebody comes to you, you know how to differentiate between a customer and ambassador. I just want to highlight on this before. Somebody tells you, hey, I'm interested in Plexus. Okay, you talk to them about their goals, and then you say, okay, this is what I recommend. And if you recommend something that's less than a Triplex, or for whatever reason they can't afford a Triplex, they say, you know what, I just want to start off with a bag of Slim. Okay, this table right here is excellent. And it's like, it takes our thoughts and puts them into a little visual, so you can always refer back to this. If they order less than a Triplex, go this way, which is preferred customer. If they order Triplex and something else, like Triplex and X Factor, or the Triplex, you can lean towards the right. And then you think about commitment. What is their commitment? Obviously, we know that these products work best when taken over a long period of time, right? Because it takes time to restore, rebalance our body. So if they say, I just want to try it for 1 month and see what it does. Okay, so here we are, 30-day commitment, they go back to preferred customer. And they can always upgrade. If they say, oh, I am willing to do it for 90 days, like sign me up, I will do anything you tell me to do, 90 days, I can do it. And especially we have that money back guarantee for 60 days. If they try it for 60 days, like fully consistently taking their products, they have a no risk, right, to take it. So if they have that commitment, and even better, 90 days, I mean, they're really going to see some results within 90 days. Then you go towards ambassador. So I just wanted to show this here. Okay. All right. Okay. All right. So now, what do we do when we have an ambassador? Oh my gosh. Where is it? Sorry guys, I have my notes saved on here. Okay. I had my notes on here. Okay, so you have ambassadors. So when you have an ambassador join you, I usually send them 2 emails. I send them the email with the products, the one that we just mentioned above, and then I send them a welcome to Plexus email. So this is more on the company side. And don't judge, don't differentiate, because they're just wholesalers, and wholesalers means that they just want the product. I misjudged a couple of people when I first started them, and I just put them as just products, just wholesalers, just strictly product. Well, down the road, they wanted to share it, and this is great and fantastic, but had I started them before with the right tools, they would have taken off much faster, right? So I did a disservice to them. So I would send them an email that mentions like welcome to Plexus, and then in that email I have the income disclosure on how much the potential is to earn with Plexus, the steps to diamond, like how to get to silver, what silver means, gold, and then all the graphics as far as income. Some people just see numbers and they get like, oh my gosh, this is amazing, like how do they do this? And then they'll take a look at the possibilities of where somebody can grow to like senior gold or gold. And they're like, oh, I want to do this. I think I can do this. Share the compensation plan with them. And then also I send them in a price sheet with them, because sometimes they'll start talking about these products with their friends, and then their friends are asking like, how much is this? So they already have that sheet with them in an email, or they can come to you and ask you too. And then I have in tips for Plexus ambassadors, and that's like start sharing, get acquainted to your back office, those kinds of things, taking your products daily, get acquainted to your fast start kit, you know, that comes in when you join. You get this awesome kit that is like full on knowledge about how to get started. So really cool. This is your success kit, comes in your welcome pack. So I send them that just in case. You just never know. Don't discriminate. Just send it to everybody that joins you. And then I also do a script. And I started doing this script, and this is actually via text or on Messenger. But it's like, hey girl, I just need to share this with you, because if I don't, I feel like I'm doing a disservice to you. Simple as that. And in that text message, I say, just want you to know that with your membership, if you bring in or recruit 3 friends or share this with 3 friends, change your wording according to what would best fit them, right? Like if you help 3 friends the same way, join the same way you joined, you get to silver, which means you get a $100 bonus, and you get, you know, like right now is double bonus, and then you kind of add up the numbers. So I give them a number of what they can earn within their first month, and it helps pay for their products. Some people would be like, oh, I get this by helping people. Fantastic, sign me up. And then I say the average income for a silver ambassador is about $400. Granted, that average is what they take from the lowest paid silver to the highest paid silver. That's how they come up with that $420. And that's also on a balanced business with ambassadors and customers. That's a good balanced business. So I send them that. And then I also say, and if you decide to double these bonuses by recruiting 20 people, actually I changed the word recruiting, inviting 20 of the coolest, raddest, most influential people you know to join you in the first 30 days, everything, all your doubles, all your bonuses double. And that can mean about $1,400, if not more. So some people may look at that and be like, oh my gosh, that's a lot. No, I can't do it. But some people may be like, oh my gosh, yes, sign me up. Like, no questions asked. Let's do it. Let's try it. So then you kind of know, you as an ambassador and as their sponsor, yes, they want to do this. Yes, they want to share. Yes, they want to give this a shot. So run with them, lock arms with them. My advice is plug everybody. If they're ambassadors, plug them into the team page. Even if they say they just want the products, plug them in. You guys, I was wholesaler when I first joined. I wanted nothing to do with the business. But when I was plugged into these team pages, I saw camaraderie, I saw encouragement, I saw action, I saw, you know, a community of support, and I saw shout outs, I saw recognition. I don't remember the last time I got recognized, probably maybe, I didn't get much recognition in college, maybe high school when I walked across the stage, and that's typical for about anybody. You know, that was probably the last time they got recognized or given a shout out. And so people will work harder for praises than they do for raises. And that's what I saw on the team pages. So if I do have had people say they want to keep anonymous and not tell anybody because they want to work this on their own, I still plug them in. I just don't welcome them in, you know, with a little graphic, but I still add them to the team page and the inside scoop. And here's one thing also about team pages is try to keep it minimal and try to add them to the pages that you think they will get the most benefit from. Okay, for me, that's the inside scoop with Health and Plexus, because they get to see testimonies. They get to see, that's where they can build their belief. That's how I built my belief. And we have one in Spanish, and then Team Health and Wealth. And then I personally have one, which, you know, if you're like a certain level and above, you have a big team, I would recommend it. If not, I would say focus your energy on recruiting and starting your people strong. Hold their hand. My advice is just hold their hand and do this with them. Remember when you first started, look back at when you first started. For me, I know that I was not being engaged on team pages. I didn't post. I didn't ask questions. I was kind of like that kid in the classroom in the back, just waiting for others to ask questions, and I would read or read the comments, or I would learn from what people were asking. So I was just that person in the back just observing. And so for when somebody joins you and they're in team pages, it might be intimidating for them to comment on a post, on a thread. But if you message them directly and privately in a private message, they're most likely to respond back to you. Or if you put them in a group setting, if you have a thread with your team and you put it in a thread, I feel like, oh, somebody will answer. I don't need to answer anymore. So I feel like when you engage with them one-on-one, pick up the phone if you can and just say, hey, I want you to join me tonight, or do this, or let's do this, or let's do that, or can you chat tonight? They're more likely to engage with you on that one-on-one. It takes more time for you, but it is much more rewardable and much more, you get more out of it, and they will get more out of it. So just easier to pick up the phone or message them. You can do messenger. Voice dictation is faster too. First and foremost is get to know their goals. Make this about them. It's their journey. They decided, they came to you for a reason. So get to know what their health goals are and what they want out of Plexus, whether it's health, finances, belonging, anything of that. Get to know, educate and empower them, hold their hand. And that's with knowledge, testimonies. You don't have to know everything about the products to get started, and neither do they. But you can put them in a three-way message. You can plug them in with your upline. You can share stuff from your shareables. The best way that I learned, honestly, was reading through testimonies. And that was like through the Inside Scoop and Health and Plexus page. Similar to that, I would go in and see, okay, what did they take? Okay, if they had arthritis, they took the Triplex and they took the Ease capsules. So that's what I would recommend and keep in mind. If somebody asks me, hey, does Plexus help with so-and-so? You know what I do? I would go and, because I'm a self-learner, I like to search. So in Plexus, under the search bar, I would type in Plexus and arthritis, and I'd see what people would post. If it's gut health, obviously it's gut health, and I'd look that up and send it to them. A lot of it's copy and paste, simple as that. My other tip is for you is to be organized. Have a system that works for you, whether it's notebooks, Excel spreadsheet. Have something that works for you, and don't drop the ball, because I will tell you, I've dropped the ball on some of my ambassadors and customers before, where I didn't follow up, and then it felt awkward to follow up, and then they just stopped ordering. And I'm like, hey, I noticed you stopped ordering. What was that? That's very uncomfortable. So we want to make sure that we're on top of where they're at, what they're experiencing, and to hold their hands, and to keep a system for you to stay organized, when to reach out to them. Have a planner, have a calendar, and write their names down is my recommendation. And when you have somebody join you, subscriptions are key, so key. And let me tell you why. It is proven, actually it's a fact, that when people join your team and they don't set up a subscription right away, it is proven that 80% of those people will never order again. So you basically just signed up a retail customer at a much higher price. They paid $34.95 and they paid a one-time order. So it's good to have that conversation and be open with them at the very beginning, and just say, pick up the phone. You can sign them up while they're on their computer and just say, okay, now click on this, and now make sure you set up your subscription order. This is your next month's order that is going to, keep you on track so that you don't go a day without it. Because most of the times when we start them on the Triplex, we want them to not have to restart again. If they go a week to 3 days, 4 days, 5 days without their BioCleanse and ProBio, and then they order again, it's going to be about a week and a half later that they get their products, and then you might have to restart them again on BioCleanse and ProBio. Remember, and those are the ones we want to find a good balance on. They might go through detox, so we don't want to go without a window of no products. So it's just best to have that conversation from the very beginning, and then not making it uncomfortable the following month when you've seen that they're not ordering, they don't have a subscription order set. So that's my tip of advice for that. So just remember to hold their hand, whether they're customers and ambassadors, and if they're loving their product, you can always upgrade them to an ambassador. People that love their products make the best ambassadors. And Customer service is one of the best things out there. And if you provide good customer service to your team, to your customers, your ambassadors, they're most likely to recommend you and give you a referral to someone else. So with that said, I'm going to read through the comments and I'm going to stop the recording. And then if you guys have any questions, go ahead and unmute yourself. Okay, let me see here. I'm going to read here. You guys, feel free to ask any questions. Where do you get the welcome to Plexus email? Okay, so that's one. And here's the thing, you guys. The welcome, I know I have that on my team page, Joanna, you asked that question. And here's the thing. I usually send it to everybody that I've personally signed up. So it's something that's duplicatable. So if for some reason you didn't get it, I would ask your upline. So that's the thing, that it can get lost if people unfortunately drop the ball, don't do it, they don't work with emails, maybe they just text, and you want to start that, I'd say start it back up. If it was dropped somewhere in between your sponsors, you can start it right back up and duplicate that on with your team. And I highly, highly encourage you to do that, because it's going to be easier on you and you're going to have less attrition as your team grows. Okay, because they're going to have those tools. So I have it on my team page, Joanne, and it's if you do a search under files, welcome to email to Plexus, you can find it. If not, send me your email and I'll forward it to you real quick, and you can see all the attachments that I saved. So what I did 3 years ago, I still have the same email that Jen sent to me, and then in my email, I created a Plexus account. So everything that comes to Plexus related, I just file it under that. And I still have access to all of those emails, even though some of the stuff has changed, but you can go back in and edit it and make sure it's coming from you, like plug in your name. You can change the wording on how to start. If they're on medication, you can change that around, just make sure it's geared towards them. Okay.
Perfect. Thank you, Maria.
Yeah. Plexus Power Tools and File section. Yeah, there's also Plexus Power Tools. Plexus Power Tools is a separate page. It's like $10 a year, but there's all kinds of graphics. There's email, what are they called? Just like little that you can redo, templates. Templates. Yes, that you can redo. It's $10 a year. You can write that off. If not, just go ahead and ask your sponsor and your upline, and we can get those to you as well. But you know, now with Plexus Power Tools, I have to say I don't use it as much anymore, because Plexus has upped their game and they've really put up a lot of stuff under the shareables with graphics, and our graphics are much prettier than the ones in Power Tools.
What I like Plexus Power Tools for is they have really great breakdowns of all of our products that we can use for our own self, or we can send them to people. Please stop. Please stop. Sorry.
It's okay.
We're parents first, right?
Yes, absolutely.
I like those to send to people who are like more green personality, just because there's lots of like more scientific stuff that's really incorporated in them. Like we have our shareables too. I don't know. I just like I like Plexus Power Tools for that, I guess.
Yeah, and you know, and the thing with the Power Tools, I did get some instructions in Spanish, so I know if any of you need instructions in Spanish, I have them saved on my computer, though some of them might need a little bit re-editing, and those take time to translate. So you can just, don't trust me, don't trust Power Tools, because it's changed and the instructions have changed. So I would just scan through it and just edit it as you need it.
Okay, so I have another question, Maria. I was trying to sign up a gal last night